Hi, welcome aboard. Hi, this is Tobie Magee. I come with you concerning the appeal for the case concerning Seminole Tribe Classic Casino, a happening event that happened on December 1st, 2008. My concerns on this here is my argumentative statement that I have to present to you and why we got to this point, as well as resolving what has happened. What I'm concerned about mostly is that the lawsuit was something that was preventable and something that was caused by Seminole. And the defense continued to focus on the sovereignty, immunity of the Seminole Tribe of Florida, where I was really at all times suing Seminole Tribe Classic Casino. And what I'm dealing with is a situation where the lawsuit was made because of negligence due to misrepresentation from some staff members, and as well as security disregarding when they were called over to after the engineer had came in and took the numbers off of the machine, which was called, I believe, volumes numbers or something to that effect. But I dealt with the problem of some discrimination and to collect on it. But most of all, I dealt with it with the interference in my lifestyle, as well as coping with other problems in my life and causing a lot of stress and tension. I'm very sorry that the defense feel the way that they feel, as far as even making some accusations concerning this lawsuit, and as well as me being told that the first initial filing that I filed in 2014, telling me that the complaint was all that I filed, not the lawsuit, and it was only a complaint, and I have to pursue it from there. But I also very disappointed, I would say, and hurt that we have to go over this, but I apologize for the initial brief comments of IB, what they referred to, but also the sanction of them saying let it be a strike, not once, but 2 to 3 times. But what disturbed me most of all now is dealing with this appeal again, but the defense writes here that the motion to dismiss plaintiff complaint with prejudice that was dated on March the 13th, and some comments that was placed into it, and some things that they wrote on the first and second page very much disturbed me, with the allegations that he placed as winning, or I won, or what I put it as, and going back in and forth with how they presented it. I'm going to read this to you, what was said, and it was said, the plaintiff allegates that on and about December 1st, 2008, the plaintiff won the jackpot at the Seminole Indian Casino, Hollywood, and claims that the Seminole Tribe of Florida has refused to pay out a jackpot winning. They transferred this over to the responsibility of the Seminole Tribe of Florida, with the saying that they cannot be sued. This was a lawsuit that should not have even been filed, should not have even happened, but they made the lawsuit happen. And because they made the lawsuit happen, they actually, instead of them saying that Seminole Tribe, the casino itself, that they call it, taking the responsibility. They told me that the responsibility for this particular situation falls on Seminole Travel, Florida, but it fell really, on the responsibility of the casino and them being the government head of that. But that day, what happened, it should have been paid out. It should have been explained. We filled out the papers and we did our work. But I feel that when they disregard and disrespect it, we had numerous emails. We had conference call with about, I think, 4 to 6 people that was in there, and some of the people from Hard Rock on this. But I dealt with the disappointment of them allowing to come to this point. And I read with understanding, I should say, concerning the compact gambling of 2010. And I feel that did not affect my lawsuit, because my lawsuit are my winnings for the jackpot on the Monopoly Tycoon Plus winning of the 260 happened on before the, maybe it initiated it, because in December 2010 they did email me about the audit that they did on that machine. They had removed the machine days afterwards off the floor and claimed it was in the back. So that is very important also. But the argument I want to say is that this was so sloppy done, because they did not address the facts in this, what we were told to do, or I felt that was very important. But I wrote up a summary judgment because of our liberty and our rights, and to say that when I was told that I had to go to the police department, file a police report to do a subpoena, I did not know it would come to this point. When you're dealing with 2008 to 2017 to what has gone on, I had to battle sickness, I had to battle stress, I had to battle a lot of tension, a lack of income due to them interfering with another process of something that was happening, because my father had passed away and someone debited or touched and put a lien on the finances that was given to me from my father's will. And the 600 and something thousand plus was not the Seminoles tribe casinos to touch, or the Seminole tribe of Florida. It stresses me out for them to believe and think that the money that was in my name was theirs, and to renovate as well, and what they have done in the last few years. I monitored it because of my situation getting worse. When I was on my way as a songwriter, singing, doing little gigs and stuff like that, in school, I should have finished college in probably 2010, 2011, but listen, in 2017, I have not finished. I have 4 more classes. This case has taken so much, but I argue because of the attitude of what the Seminole tribe of Florida did not distinguish the difference between the 2 divisions of the casinos, the casinos position or place or winnings. They are not just one division. There are 2, 3, 4 different divisions, from their tourist billing to their cigarette billing to all of that. And I had to put all my marbles and thoughts together on it, but at the same time, I had tried to finish school, and the pressure is just beyond. And when you're at a breaking point that you do one thing and you're trying to do another thing, and this keep coming up before you, they cost money to find out information. It costs money to even proceed. It costs money to be motivated, but it costs money to live. They interfered in my lifestyle. They interfered me as a songwriter and finishing up my college education. But I put down this statement because of the stress that came forward and the disappointment for when the defendant had sat in my seat during the first chamber hearing that we had with the other judge, and it's being disregarded more or less like a $10,000 or $15,000 lawsuit versus applying for $1 million plus. And it was very sloppy. I feel what the judge has done, I think they did not take the time to hear and see I was suing, who I was suing. But of course, they're saying we have to go to mama before we go to daddy, or go to daddy before we go to mama, calling this casino to cover them or to govern over them. But the responsibility, what happened that day, the staff was short. They said that the manager would be in. The supervisor was the only ones on duty. Then I did wait, and then I remember writing up the paper, and one tonight somebody's going to call. They never called that night. On December 1st, on December 2nd, they never called. I called back. I actually physically came out there December 3rd because I was in the middle of exams and things. But this is to me, it's just something that shouldn't have happened. And the terminology, I'm not was not clear on it, but now I am clear on it. But I wrote everything not to be selfish, but really to pour out my thoughts, my mind, and not so much my emotions. We deal and we cope with everything very differently. And we have to remember everything above and remember that everybody has the same rights. I don't know why the Compact 1020 came up and they tried to put it in this lawsuit, but he did not focus on the rights of everybody in the United States. It's just not so much the Seminoles. My father and his position, he's at home with the Lord, God bless his soul, but I cope with him he's Spanish, and my mother was Indian. So what they were trying to say, I comprehend it, but I don't agree with them making the lawsuit to come to their favor for them to dismiss this lawsuit. And I really don't think the judges were fair. I looked at it neutral. They looked at it, to me, very incorrectly, and I believe they should have wrote without prejudice. If they would have wrote without prejudice and comprehend what was going on, they think that I can walk in and do this and do that. It's not that way. I did request my money several times. I asked what's going on with it. I showed the paper that I had from the supervisor, and I think it was another supervisor who had came on then, one of the cage managers that came in. But they wanted me to submit and go to the council of the Indian tribe, bring that paper to them, and do this and that. And on September 15, 2009, I done that. I typed that. I typed it when I was at Broward College. I don't know what happened to the paper up to now, because I only made a copy, I think, on the hard drive and on the other school, and a copy I gave to the security guard that's there at 6300. But what I'm dealing with mostly right now is that when I had to deal with the insults, or telling me to hit the road, kiss their rear end, come to the trial on a Monday or Tuesday, I'm being told to debate with them about my winnings. This is something I was told years later, because I had met with them on April 2009 concerning on the phone when I was living in Wellington. This was all without their financial support. This was all without money from the winnings. And my father, he's a doctor who passed away, like I said, but they went into some money, inheritance money, and they think that it was paid what they done and offered me $2.90. But my calculations also came up differently from what they asked for, what they suggested, what they wanted. So I had to cope with that as well as the calculations. When you look at it, that the when it hit the jackpot, it flashed out money and showed the binocular board. It showed it it's being still and calculating some numbers or something, like whatever it does. But even after the calculation, the lookup button flashed across the machine, the slot machine itself for Monopoly. It was the 5 cents, and the arrow that it had, it went up and down, up and down, up and down, kind of like, kind of do do do, like something's going up. But when it up, it went cross and stuff like that. And the only thing I remember that I tipped my head down, and I'm not even sure, was it 1,500, 750 coins or 2,500 coin, but it was something. And he says that he wants to pay me $2.90, the amount that I was playing, in the $2 like a hit. So what? It was between that amount is what they desire to pay. And I said, well, that's incorrectly, and because it did the tycoon bonus. So I pray to God that we resolve this and I get my settlement, my winning. I'm using the word settlement due to prize, but my winning, my jackpot winning on this, because this has been such a headache when they tampered with my name. They tampered with my computer board to the point where one of the gentlemen's, I will pull up my thing and his name will pop up so clear, name Williams Virtual. I don't know who he is. I don't know, but he's claimed to be a part of the Seminole tribe, and asked for the opportunity to speak to me briefly. I spoke to him briefly, but I've had to even deal with him following me. I don't like to use the word stalking, to not more or less to give me security, but more or less to follow what's happening with me. I don't believe he's a danger to me, but I have to take precaution and security as well. But I pray to God that you all read and make the right decision for this and what is fair. But I believe that the Seminole tribe classic casino, what they call the, and he wanted to debate about the name on it, but it was clarification. It was clarified that the Seminole was called Seminole Indian Casino, as well as had a DBA on it. But I pray to God that I be prayed given the right amount. I also pray that it rules totally in my favor. I believe that's why y'all there for us and for the people, and that it doesn't go any further than on the District 4th. And my blessings to each and every one of you that's listening, and my love as well as for all. But I've gone through an awful situation the last 7 to 8 years with them interfering as well. And you all be blessed. God bless.